So what I'm going to show you today is how to remove the AC condenser on this Dodge Durango. Now in order to do it, we've got to remove the front bumper cover and front grille assembly. Go ahead and check it out. Now the top edge just snaps down. You're just going to grab a corner gently and start pulling up until you get them completely released. Now this vehicle has had some body damage before, so you're going to probably see some different things going on. For example, one of the snaps is broke off right here. That was from previous damage. So with the vehicle up in the air, now we can get access to the fasteners that hold the front bumper cover to the vehicle. Now we got a combination of two 10mm on the outer edges, and we got a total of 3 quarter turn fasteners that you just turn and then pull off. Now of course, this vehicle being damaged, it's missing some of them. So we'll go ahead and get the 10s off, and what fasteners we do have, quarter turn, and we'll get them off. This is one of the 3 quarter turns. You'll just grab it, twist it, and pull it off. It's just rectangle shape going up in there. And of course this is the other 10mm. So a total of 2 of these and 3 of these you'll take loose. Now removal of the tire is not necessary. I only took it off so that I could get you some better angles with the camera so you can see everything. All you need to do while it's on the ground is turn your steering wheel all the way to the left or to the right, whichever one, depending on what side you're working on, it gets you a little more access to the fasteners on the front end. Otherwise, like I said, I only took it off to help you see. You don't need to. And so that you don't cause damage to the paint and surface on this fender flare right here in the front bumper cover area, I recommend taking it off. Now it just snaps around the perimeter, and then right up here where it mounts to the actual front bumper cover, they would normally be 2 plastic rivets, and those you would knock the center pins out, or you would actually drill the centers out. This one being, like I mentioned, had previous repairs done. It's got Christmas tree fasteners, so I'll be taking those out. Otherwise it just unsnaps. Otherwise, the problem you might have is as you're trying to get the bumper cover back on, fender flares hanging here, there may be some contact, may get some scratches. It's best to be safe and take it off. If any of the plastic snaps come unloose and stay attached to the fender, you can pop them off and reattach them to the fender flare. If they break, you're definitely going to need to replace them. That way it stays on like it's supposed to. So this is where the plastic rivets would normally be. Like I mentioned, they put Christmas tree fasteners. Try to go back with the plastic rivets if you can. They hold on a lot better. We'll go ahead and pop these off. And then I've got 2 more fasteners. I've got an 8mm down below and a 10mm up here. And that will be the liner attaching to the front bumper cover. Alright, so the fasteners are off on the front edge going to the front bumper cover. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and start pulling outward. Take your time. You shouldn't have to use any trim sticks. You should be able to do most of this by hand. Like I said, they are plastic snaps. They can be on there, and it may take a little bit of force. You're not trying to damage it, you're not trying to break it, you're not trying to be rough, but you got to get it off because they're snapped on. So just work it around. And there we go. Bottom one did stay on. We'll take that off and we'll put it on the back side. So these are the little plastic snaps that hold it in place. Around the front edge you don't have any, but around the rest of it you do. And this one will be reinstalling. Otherwise, around the perimeter is what you're going to be looking for. You can see where this one's been broken. Someone's actually used some JB weld to actually put it back on. So when you're taking things apart, if they break, sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's been broke before. This one's still holding, but that's another repair that someone did instead of replacing the assembly. There's that bottom 8mm, attaches that fabric type fender well liner to the front bumper cover, and then we'll move up to the 10. And our 10mm. So with that upper 10mm out, we pull it back. You actually see there's a piece that's sticking through. There's a threaded stud that sticks through. Now, if you grab the front bumper cover and you pull back and out and off, that releases it. That actually helps hold it in place. So if you go back with it, definitely make sure that you snap it over that and then snap around the perimeter as well. But once you release this side, you've now got everything on the fender well liner taken loose, and now we can actually work on getting it off. Now once we got that fender well liner unbolted from the front bumper cover, and before we take the front bumper cover off, we need to make sure that there's nothing plugged in, such as the fog light. On the fog light, all you got to do is reach in here, grab the connector, squeeze, pull it off, and we'll repeat the same thing on the driver's side. Right here where the front bumper cover meets the fender, there's a plastic mechanism up under here that everything snaps into. When you get the front bumper cover loose and you're pulling it around, it unsnapped. Also, when you're going back with it, you got to line it up and give some gentle taps to line it. What would probably help at this point is to put some tape on right here, because as we're going back, once again, we don't want to scratch the actual paint on the vehicle. I'm just grabbing some body shop paint, something that's not going to stick that great as far as permanently leave marks or sticky stuff all over it. Put a couple pieces, and that should be enough to stop me from actually scratching the front bumper cover. I'm just trying to make sure it looks the way it came in when it leaves. Alright, so up underneath we've gotten all the fasteners taken loose. We've got the fasteners inside the fender well opening as well, and we've got it unsnapped from the front fender right here. Now we're just going to work our way around. There's some areas where it's going to snap in right here around the headlight. We're just going to work it around. Now keep in mind the grille stays on the vehicle, does not come off with the front bumper cover. And also we did unplug the fog lights. So just grab an edge, start working it. Now you may take a little force. Like I said, I'm not trying to break it, I'm not trying to be rough, but I've got to unsnap it, and there's no easy way to do it. So work your way around. Grab it and sit it off to the side. So here's the area that the front bumper cover goes around the headlight. Right here is where it snaps in place as well. And you got your fingers that go right up under the grill every so often. And when you're going back with it, make sure you give it a couple of gentle taps. Just gentle enough to snap it back in place. Make sure everything is firmly seated. Now with the front bumper cover out of the way, now we can get access for moving the grill assembly. Now, the grill itself looks like it's a separate piece that could have been removed without the front bumper cover. Unfortunately, it's not, because everything you see right here that's black in color up under is actually part of the grill assembly. So we've got two fasteners to take loose. We've got a 10mm over here and a 10mm over there. And once we get those off, we can work on getting the grill assembly off. And we've already loosened up the upper edge at the beginning. So now we should be able to grab it and start working it off. Take your time. Try not to scratch anything that's painted. Now before you do any kind of work on the AC system, you're going to need to remove the Freon. Now, you're going to be taking the AC condenser off on this vehicle. We're going to be unbolting the line. Last thing we want is pressure in the AC system to cause damage to the vehicle or hurt us in the process. So if you have the equipment, remove the Freon. If you don't, take it to a shop that can. They'll remove the Freon, go home, do your repair, return, and then they'll pull a vacuum and recharge the system for you. But definitely make sure you take care of that. That's one of the most important steps there. Now with that grill and front bumper cover assembly out of the way, we've now got access to that AC condenser / transmission cooler. Now, before we go further into getting that off, we've got some other items we got to take off. We've got some plastic closeout panels, both the driver and passenger side. We've got the horns that we need to unbolt, lift up out of the way, and we've got these cross braces we need to unbolt. Once we get those off, we're also going to unbolt the hood latch and sit it up. We're not going to disengage the cable, we're just going to reposition it. Same with the horns, we don't have to unplug them, we can just sit them up out of the way. Then we're going to get a lot more access to this condenser, and we'll also work on getting the power steering cooler off of it, which just snaps on. Now for example, on the passenger side closeout panel, the harness up here actually has a Christmas tree fastener, and it goes through the panel into the upper radiator support. we're going to use our trim stick, pop it loose. And then we'll work our way around. There's a harness that goes through it. We'll just reposition that. Usually what you have to do is try to get this panel out sideways. You'll turn it, rotate, and pick up. And we'll move over to the driver's side. The driver's side is practically about the same. Only difference is we've got the hood release cable going over the front that we've got to unsnap from its router and repositioned. And then we also got one more Christmas tree fastener here where the air intake temp sensor goes. It's just a matter of popping it loose. Like I said, we'll work on the wiring harness up top. The release cable's out of the way. Now it's just a matter of repositioning the closeout panel so we can get it out, because the harness goes through here as well, and same with that bracket that was on the passenger side. So just work it. Usually you'll rotate it this way and come up. Remember what I was saying about everything pretty much bolts up here. You don't have to unplug it. You just need to unbolt it, reposition it. No need in creating any more steps than what is needed. Trying to save some time here. We'll move over to the hood latch and the two brackets.